Hello and welcome to our Roundtable Discussion Group 2011. Thank you for spending some of your time with us. On with the show. Yeah, I did that myself, can't you tell, with my little yeah, just like that one. Yep. No, I didn't. Hey, everybody. Hi, it's May 14th, 2011. It's time for another round table. We're excited. Although today our round table is going to be a little bit different. Yes, just a tad bit different. Yeah. Because why? Oh, because we're missing Cisco and Rob. Yeah, Cisco and Rob. They're doing the AIDS walk this weekend in New York. They're trying to raise money for HIV and AIDS and to help out the community, etc., etc. Yeah, Cisco made some awesome T-shirts with "Back into Gays," their little logo kind of looking thing, just the same lettering and everything, just like at their website, backintogays.com. It's pretty awesome. So, and they're also today is what they hope to be a multiple session, the first of two. Yeah, with Tree. Tree is the bartender that works at the Stonewall Inn in New York, and actually worked there. Currently works there and did work there during the Stonewall uprisings back in '69. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome stuff that they're going to go speak with him, and Cisco's going to try to make it a 2-session deal where they get to speak with him again on a second session, probably. He's hoping next Saturday. But anyway, that's going to be for their special series of shows they're going to be doing here on queerpublicradio.com during June. Yeah, in June they're going to be doing a special Pride series from the streets of New York City. Yeah, I mean, some events, they're going to interview different people. They got people, they're lining up. I mean, goodness gracious, they are running for the goal line on this whole thing with this special series they're going to be doing in June. We don't have a definite thing on what days and when and how. I mean, because it can be as impromptu as them saying, hey, we heard there's a party tonight over blah, 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 blah. We're going to go over there. And they might call me on the cell phones and boom, we might want to throw them on the air right then, or we might record it and pre-record it for broadcasting at a later time and not put it live on the air. It's all their call on what they want to do. I just kind of lay out the options and let them choose. So you never know. We might get some impromptu live thing. We might get some pre-recorded stuff with them, or clips with them speaking in between, etc., etc., etc. As far as the written in stone production guidelines and whatnot, it's not there. So you'll have to keep a close eye on queerpublicradio.com. If you're not a member, head on over. You can be a member of queerpublicradio.com for free. Yeah, it doesn't cost nothing. So anyway, we got a round table today. It's going to be Janie. And Janie, actually, of course, you all know Janie. Janie comes from upstate New York. She's been with us on the round table for a while now. And she's a member of the trans community. And she brought with her a friend named Ren. And Ren is from the New Jersey area. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and I forgot the kids. How dare me.
Why did I swear?
See what I get? See what I get for leaving them out? Yeah, Janie has 3 kids.
Yes, I do. 3 wonderful children.
Yes. And they are great kids, too. But the 3-year-old, I think, works her last nerve sometimes. But that's okay. That's being a mom.
Definitely. She's a handful most of the time.
Yeah, I've heard some of the time, so. No, I don't want that medicine. I want the pink medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And on the complete other side of the spectrum, Ren tells us she gets to walk on the beaches and see the sunrise on the ocean and all that wonder. I know I'm terrible. That coffee's kicking in now, Janie, so look out.
I know I'm in trouble now.
So yeah, Robin Cisco. I think they're going to be doing their AIDS walk in the rain, from what Janie tells us.
Yeah, it's been raining here since last night. So, pretty wet out.
Poor guys. You know, that's what happens when you do these events that are like set up long term in advance. You know, boom.
Yeah, pretty much, especially up here.
You never know. Yeah.
All the time.
So anyway, pardon me while I light a cigarette and get my fresh cup of coffee. I had like a backup coffee ready to go. It was just waiting for me, and I was like, all right, now we're cooking with gas. So today's topic was I got a letter. I guess I should read this letter, you know, because it was kind of brought up and instigated by Brigida. So if it all goes to hell, we can blame Brigida, you know. But originally it was posed that we should speak, because we didn't mention on the last roundtable. Usually we do at the end of the roundtable what we're going to talk about on the next roundtable, so everyone knows. Well, last week we just said, "Oh, too bad, we don't have time. We're running out of time. You'll just have to tune in next time to find out." You know? Like I told you, right? Like I told Janie to tell Rand, "Oh, we're not a real radio station. We just pretend to be one on the internet." You know. We try to have some fun once in a while. I mean, the news is depressing all by itself, you know, because we usually do news around here, a lot of related to the LGBT community, so that's depressing enough, you know.
Yeah.
So Brigida wrote a little letter because the topic today is the primary topic, I should say, because we never have just one topic. You never know where we're going to go, you know. And that's why we welcome callers. Like sometimes they can turn us a whole nother direction. Well, what do you think about, you know, that taffy they sell over there on the boardwalk? You know, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. When we don't usually get callers, but you never know. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we get more. Seems like every time I say that, boom, here they come. But anyway, so it was supposed to be like bipolarism was supposed to be the topic, but the piece that Brigida wrote for us is like specifically on depression. Now, Brigida, for those of you who might not know and or remember, was with this. It was the last talk show, right, Janie, when she was with us?
Yeah. Yep, the last roundtable.
Yep, the last roundtable talk show that we had, which was like 2 weeks ago, because now we do it every other Saturday. And she's from Poland, and she was visiting Rob and Cisco in New York, and actually sleeping on their couch, I believe, for a couple of days there. And she's lesbian, and she's from Poland, and she talked to us a little bit about, you know, gay life in Poland. So evidently after the show was over, blah, 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 she suggested to Rob and Cisco, well, you know, he ought to do a show on you know, bipolarism and kind of what that entails and blah, blah, blah. So she wrote this little piece that she titled Depression for the show, because she was not able to be with us today because she just got back, you know, from vacation and stuff, you know, in New York. So, yeah. So there was a million undone things, I'm sure, you know. So let's see. Now, I was going to go through and correct this because I found a couple little grammatical deals in there, but I forgot to. So we'll see what happens here on when I read this. So this is what Brigida has to say. She says, "First of all, let me say how happy I am that I can contribute some thoughts for the roundtable again. Due to some meetings, I am unable to participate in our meeting today, but I have heard that Tom will read what I am about to write for all listeners of QPR." So She said, I'm not a medical doctor and I do not have any scientific knowledge about depression, but I believe we do not have to be rocket scientists to see what a big problem depression is within societies all around the world and within the LGBT community in particular. Depression is a it is a continued psychological pain, as I call it. It is the state when a person feels lack of desire to do anything, sadness, low self-esteem, fear, and any other very disturbing feelings. Of course, we all have days when we feel low, and it is totally harmless for us. But when the periods when you feel down are more often than before, when the time between them is shorter and shorter, I would try to get some help. Asking for help is crucial, but it is also connected with breaking some barriers we have in ourselves. Still, in many countries, going to a psychiatrist is a stigma a society puts on a person in need. But believe me, it is as normal as going to a general practitioner or a dentist. Besides, if you can notice the symptoms of depression or just have worries, you may have it or not, you may just start with a visit at a general practitioner. You may just want to speak to your friends about it, about your feelings. Very often it helps. But whatever you do, do not be afraid or do not feel ashamed. The letter I have written, I know firsthand from my life, and yes, I went through depression some years ago. Very often, depression is connected with some other health issues like neurosis or panic attacks. That also happened to me. I do not want to bore you with all the details of the process of going out of depression. I will only say it is a process, quite a long one, when you learn to live normally again. You learn to walk out of the house, do shopping, meet your friends, and try not to have all those low self-esteem thoughts in your head. Often it is connected with taking some medicines that may help you in reaching a desired state of mind. It is hard sometimes, but it is manageable to overcome the problem. Again, I am a walking example of that. Depression touches sensitive people. But in my opinion, it also touches people who are in any way excluded by society, belonging to a so-called minority. That is why, in my opinion, it affects so many members of the LGBT community everywhere in the world. Aren't we said, and isn't it repeated, that we are less worth than others? Isn't it said that we are sinners? Don't we have to fight every day to be respected equally with the rest of societies? Doesn't it make us more vulnerable and more exposed to any kind of life dilemmas and problems? Every day hiding feelings, pretending to be a different person, doesn't it put us in a group at higher risk of having depression? That is why I believe we should have some wider support from one another within the LGBT community. We should try to help one another to get help if needed. Who will help us if we can't help each other? You may have or get depression. You may be lucky enough not to have it. You may meet a person with problems, or you may just read about it in a newspaper. Whatever your path of life is or will be, just remember that depression is curable. It is not something bad, and you can and should get help, not only from doctors, but also from your friends. In other words, do not be afraid. Do not feel alone in a problem. Do not be ashamed. 1 in 3 persons has it, if they know that or not. A wish from me to you. If you have depression, never ever think that you are worse or less precious than the others. Grasp this wish, and with time, you will be better. Oh, and by the way, pass it on. And that's what Brigida had to share with us.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, she put a little thought into it, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely it shows.
Yeah, I think she was feeling guilty. I mean, because she even suggested the topic, and then she wasn't able to be here. I don't, obviously, because Robin Cisco, I was kind of heard this secondhand, blah, 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 on the topic, and they were like, hey, Brigida wants to do blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, well, if you want to do it on the next show, that's fine with me, Okay, well, we'll get together with her. And then it's like, oops, Oh, there's our friend George. If y'all heard that little tiny little click or in the background there, that was that means someone's in the chat room and said something, and that's our friend George from down in Long Beach, California. George said he enjoyed the letter as well. So let's see. So where are we going to go? Janie, I know Janie is very open and honest and outspoken for the most part about much of what she's going through with her bipolarism, and I've noticed that with other people I've met that that they're very open in that, like that's part of the healing process kind of thing, maybe, huh?
Well, it is, and
Yeah.
it also gets rid of the stigma around it too. The more people that know about it, the more help there is out there for it, and the more understanding you're going to get. And that's really what we all need is understanding.
Yeah, from what you were saying online, is that where you and Ren met online on Facebook and some of those resources that are available over there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's a peer-run a group on Facebook. It's called Never Alone, and I've gotten a lot of help and met a ton of really nice and supportive people. And it's a very safe place to speak about the problems that are bothering you, not just with your bipolar disorder, but in your everyday life. And like I said, I found a ton of support there and made a lot of nice friends.
And it's called Be Yourself.
It's
It's
called
called
Never Alone.
One more time. Ren, what was it called again?
Never Alone.
Oh, Never Alone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
On Facebook, huh?
Yep.
Because I think that's real cool. It almost, I mean, years ago, because Ren, in case you didn't know, I'm 55 years old, so I always say years ago when I say most things. Uh, people used to pay for this group therapy thing. I'm thinking now people can get it on the internet for free, almost like.
Oh yeah. Well, it makes it accessible to people like me who live out in the middle of nowhere.
That too,
And
yeah.
anybody's welcome. Anybody's welcome at all. It doesn't matter, what your sexuality is, what your gender is, what your race is. Everyone's welcome, and everyone's welcomed equally there. So, like I said, it's a very safe and supportive place to go.
It's very accepting and nurturing.
That's totally all. And Janie doesn't even have internet. She does all this on her cell phone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right. What she's out.
I live up in the middle of nowhere. I really do.
Yeah, Janie's with us on by phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Way from upstate New York, like way upstate.
So let's talk about some of the basics about bipolarism, because there's like manic, and you got hypo and hyper, and that's like those are upswings, right?
Yeah.
Because isn't it manic and depressive? Aren't those the two swings? Do I have that
Yeah,
wrong?
those are the two poles.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like the manic depressive, they renamed that bipolar disorder, and that became stage 1 bipolar, I believe. Ren might know a little bit better on me than that one. I myself. Oh, go ahead.
Bipolar 1 is, I believe bipolar 1 is where mania is more often present, not more than depression, but the mania is like full-blown mania. Whereas bipolar 2 is more likely to be more depression, and the mania doesn't really extend too much past like irritability and short temper. Whereas,
Right.
with bipolar 1, the full-blown mania can be very dangerous. You can do very impulsive things like drinking and driving and thinking that's a really great idea, and just other dangerous things.
Oh, wow.
Sorry,
Okay.
that's something caught my throat.
Yeah, I have the bipolar 1, so fortunately the mania isn't that often. It's more often hypomania, which isn't quite mania, but it's more too happy. I'm too happy, and it can be good, but it can be potentially dangerous. But yeah, I get the mania as well as the depression pretty fiercely.
Yeah, I get more hypomanic myself, and extremely depressive. Um, so it's like I don't get the, everything's wonderful, perfect, marvelous, but I get the irritability. I get the just like the I don't know how to explain it. um, just like everything tends to set you off.
Yeah, yeah.
And these are things that happen because of chemical imbalances in the brain, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And that's what
And
they're
they don't
trying to
always.
do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's what they're trying to do by the medicating is balance those chemicals out or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Um,
I'm just trying to follow, because I sure don't know everything there is to know about it.
yeah. Just an interesting bit of information. Most of the medications that they use to treat bipolar disorder were originally designed for seizure medications because they affect the chemicals in the brain in that way. And they find that they actually work well as mood stabilizers also. So they started using them for the bipolar disorders.
Hmm. That happens with a lot of medications, I think, because I remember originally the prostate test was just commonly known as, to use to test men for prostate cancer. It was a women, and originally was something for some kind of marker had something to do with pregnant women, I believe, or something, looking for something. And then they discovered it would work to test for prostate cancer on men. It was like a totally bizarre thing I read years and years and years ago. But
That's
anyway,
interesting.
kind of strange, medicines. I don't know. So let's see. So basically, it's almost like you kind of got a zero in the middle, which would be neither on the manic side or I guess on the depressive side, and most bipolars float back and forth or whatever, right? When the mood swings are happening, the medication isn't doing its job, or they're still trying to figure it all out or whatever.
Right. I very rarely reach the neutral plane. I'm usually either hypomanic or depressive to some degree. I mean, I don't always go all the way down or all the way up. And I tend to find, I don't know if this is the same with other people suffering from bipolar disorder. I tend to find that the higher up I go, the lower down I go. They tend to be related. So
yeah,
I can usually tell if I'm going to be by how hyper I am.
I very rarely reach neutral myself, but for the past week, I've been at a level neutral place, which is very different. Not used to it. It's nice.
It is. It's very nice when you reach that neutral plane.
And how? Because let's get on where y'all are in the. I mean, how long ago were you diagnosed, Jeannie?
I was only diagnosed a year ago, but I've been suffering from it to some extent. Sorry, to some extent, I've been suffering from it my whole life. It really took hold about 4 years ago.
Because you just started a new regimen of met. I mean, they tried to clean you up there, and then she started something new. So they're still trying to figure out what's going to work with you, right?
Right. Yeah, they've tried 3 or 4 different medications for me, and none of them actually worked.
That's that little girl with that cute giggle.
Okay. Yeah, so they started me on a medication. I don't have it in front of me. I believe it's called Lamictal, and it seems to be working well so far.
And Ren, what about yours? How long were you diagnosed, and how's the medical part of it working out?
I'm going to mute for 1 second. Hold on.
Okay, Janie.
I have a similar diagnostic history. I was only diagnosed with bipolar about a year ago, but I've been suffering for it, like she said, for at least some part of my life, or to some extent for most of my life. I was diagnosed with clinical depression when I was 12 years old. I'm 22 now. Well, I'll be 22 on Tuesday, so it's about the same.
Oh, happy
But,
birthday!
thank you. But yeah, it started showing itself as bipolar rather than depression a few years ago, and I finally got myself re-diagnosed with bipolar as at least part of my diagnosis. I have a few other assorted issues, but a lot of it's all interconnected. But I was on Lamictal for a while, and it was okay, but it still wasn't quite doing the right thing. So I actually just this morning, started a new medication. I don't remember what it's called because I just got it. It's another anti-seizure medicine, which is which is being used in my case as a mood stabilizer. But hopefully it'll help.
Awesome. I knew a lady that had it for many years back when I lived down in Texas, and she was pretty much stable. They had gotten her medical as long as she didn't, run out, because she once in a while she would run out of pills and just kind of blow it off, and
Yep.
and then next thing you know, she's having problems. But as long as she stayed on her regiment, and it seemed like she was doing pretty good. She was just the sweetest person you ever wanted to meet. And I thought she was a great person.
Oh yeah. People with bipolar or any other mental illnesses, for that matter, are just like everybody else. Just have a little more trouble, or a lot more, depending, coping with day-to-day life. It's just another obstacle to overcome. It doesn't make them less or more than anybody else. So
yeah, because people, that label thing, right?
It's a stigma attached. It's just because one is mentally ill, there's a stigma that says you're crazy, you're bad, you're not right in the head, so that means you shouldn't be interacting with everybody else, which honestly is the same kind of stigma that is on the LGBT community.
Yeah. Well, and almost just about any minority.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And all of us that are quote unquote the other.
Yep, exactly. And I actually know quite a few people in the LGBT community with bipolar and other assorted mental illnesses, like borderline personality disorder, or clinical depression, anxiety issues, things like that.
Oh, we've all been there, that's for sure.
Yep.
I'll raise my hand up there because I was at 18 or 19 somewhere. I attempted suicide, actually died, had an out-of-body experience and all this other stuff. Yeah, it was a life-changing experience. It was almost...
It would be.
But to come to me at such an early age, I didn't even understand it, to where I do now. But,
yeah.
And it's kind of funny how those things can change you. Those major, near death experiences, I think, change everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes for the better, I think. Probably most.
Hopefully for the better.
Probably most times for the better. Oh goodness. Yeah. Now. I was telling Jenny a story about I'm going to keep coming back to this bipolar person that I knew in Texas. I'm going to leave it at that. An anonymous bipolar person in Texas.
Right.
But, you back, Janie?
Yeah, I'm back. I've been back. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to interrupt Ren, so I came back quietly. Snuck back in the room.
And and I've actually read a little bit about it now. Janie just she pashawed me when I said this to her, but there was some kind of a connection with when these swings happen of a like a real strong sexual drive or something, and because this guy that I knew that was married to her, if when she would get off her medicines and disappear for the night or whatever, that was the first thing he would say because he read it on the internet too, about these sex drive swings or something associated with it. I know she's out there having sex with somebody else. And of course, that said more about his own insecurities than what she was doing, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
anyway, I was just wondering, is there?
Actually,
Go ahead.
from what I've been reading about the hypermania, is that can be one of the symptoms of it is a lack of inhibitions, or not lack of, is that right? Lack of inhibitions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was actually incorrect on that, and I totally apologize for that. But yeah.
Well, I knew I had read it online, but I didn't want to say nothing.
It can be, but it's more specifically associated with like higher mania. And it's not even necessarily so much sex drive as it is the impulsiveness. It's just that everything seems like a great idea, especially the really bad, dangerous, unsafe ideas. It's why a lot of people, there's a lot of people who are manic tend to do a lot of drugs or drink a lot of times when they're manic because it seems like a great idea. So that's one of the ways it can be really, really dangerous.
Yeah.
I see what's going. Okay, because like Janie told me the other day, she said, sometimes I just can't trust my brain. It sends me like false messages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, I will be right back. I got to pull something out of the oven before it lights on fire.
Okay, man.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's like your brain tells you things that are contrary to what you know are true, but at the time, it's hard to realize that they're not correct, and it's just that it's just your disorder, basically speaking to you, for lack of a better explanation. Like the thought that the whole world will be better off without you, that no one will miss you, and that is never true. Your life always touches somebody in some way, and there's always people that care about you. But when your depression has a grip on you, it's extremely convincing. It's very hard not to listen to it. It's very hard to realize that it's basically a lie. For me, it took a while to realize that that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It really did. And for me, when bipolar disorder first gripped me, like I said, about 3.5, 4 years ago, it was more depression than hypomania. So I had those thoughts going on all the time. And I pretty much say all the time for the first 2.5 years. And after a while, you get used to them and you start to accept them, and other things such as suicide, start to sound good. And they should never sound good. I mean, let me go on record saying that there is no reason in the world that someone should consider suicide. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Things are always going to get better. It may not happen right away, but if you hang long enough, they're going to. You just have to have the strength and, the knowledge of the people that you can lean on and rely on to help you through it. And if you do have to seek help, you should. There's no shame. There's no embarrassment and seeking help from a professional. That's what took me really long to actually find help, is because I was ashamed. You know, I was afraid of what people would think. You know, I was embarrassed by it, and like I said, it took me forever to actually go and seek help. I've only been receiving help for just a little under a year now, so I lived basically with it completely unchecked for 2.5 to 3 years, and it's extremely hard.
So how did you start, though? Did you have medical insurance when you first went in for diagnosis, or to a doctor or whatever?
No, I had medical insurance. Actually, I went to the hospital because I was having an area where I was suicidal. I was having a little bit of time where I was suicidal, and I went in to seek help. And they put me in touch with a therapist and a psychiatrist that I see. Therapist I see every 2 weeks, and a psychiatrist I see once a month. You know, and they're working as a team to get me straightened out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I should say that a lot of the people that have bipolar disorder may show signs before, like, childhood and teenage years. And a lot of times it doesn't take hold until you've had a traumatic event, which is the same for me. That's what happened to me. And then it hit really hard. But as I look back, I realized that I've always had the manic depression, just it was never severe enough to actually be diagnosed, which is a lot of what the problem is with bipolar disorder, is it goes undiagnosed in most people.
Mm-hmm.
Because, when you go to a doctor, your doctor doesn't see the manic or the depressive side all the time. They see you for half an hour to an hour, so they don't have an idea of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's feeling depressed, if someone's feeling like everything's great, everything's perfect, there's not a care in the world, if you're getting ideas that, like we said, that things that are bad for you are good, it wouldn't hurt to actually go and speak to a doctor about it. And a family practitioner can point you in the right way, in the right direction.
That's cool. What do you have any? What if a person doesn't have any kind of insurance or anything, and what do they do?
Then you can go to your hospital, and your hospital can actually set you up with, like, Medicaid. I'm not sure what the requirements are for, like, Medicaid, but I'm on Medicaid myself. So, Again, there's no shame in going and getting help if insurance isn't, available to you. Either way, if you need the help, you shouldn't hesitate in trying to find help.
So if they're feeling like, they can just go to the emergency room, huh?
Yeah. Yep. You go to the emergency room. Most hospitals have professionals there. Just
like if you had a broken leg or something,
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And if someone's really having serious thoughts about suicide, you can always call 911 too, and they'll make sure that you get the help that you need.
Cool. That's good to know, because I think a lot of people might be out. I don't have any insurance. I don't have a job. I don't have nothing. I can't go anywhere. La la la. Well, yeah, I think that's important for them to know. You can always just walk into the closest emergency room.
There's also in a lot of areas places that have a sliding scale. The office that I go to now for my therapy works on a sliding scale, where if you have insurance, they'll accept your insurance, but if you have no insurance, there are some people who go for as low as $10 a session.
And they base that on your income?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And it's just a county office, you just get some help?
No, I believe it is privately owned.
Oh, really?
Just look in different, like wherever you live, look around for different psychiatric offices, because a lot of them just want to help.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there some kind of a county mental health services usually thing that someone can find online in most places and that will direct them to?
There might be. I'm not positive off the top of my head. Um, I know if you Google around, you'll find something.
Mm-hmm.
That I know.
There's a
But
lot out there, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And yeah, you can always go to Facebook and talk to them over there.
That's definitely true. I definitely stand by that. Ren and mine and Ren's friend Melissa is the one who started it, and I want to give her, props for doing that, because she's helped so many people. And she's just an angel, and she'll always be high on my list of favorite people.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when she was actually talking about making it when it wasn't quite created. And a little bit after that, there was only maybe 15, 20 people on there, and now there's so many. And I'm really proud of her, and I'm glad that I got to help with it.
Yes. I was just relieved to find someone who was willing to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, what's it called again? I didn't write it down.
It's called Never Alone.
Never Alone. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And you can just do a simple search on Facebook for it, and it comes up. It's I'm going to totally get the order of these wrong, but it's Never Alone, and in parentheses it has like different disorders. It has like the bipolar. It has borderline disorder or borderline personality disorder, depression, and that's all in parentheses. So it's really easy to find. And if anybody even just needs somebody to talk to, it's a great place to go. To talk and get help with any kind of depression or anything.
There's a lot of really amazing people that know what they're doing, and if they don't, they'll send you somewhere where they do.
Right.
Awesome resource. Yeah, because I think that this awesomeness of the internet and peer support, peer support that's just at your fingertips it just has a world. It's changed the world.
Now, the one thing I asked Melissa before I actually mentioned it on the radio, because I didn't want to step on any toes or anything, and her only request is that I mention that it is peer run. It's not run by doctors or therapists. So that's the only thing that she really wanted me to mention when I mentioned the name. So people understood, that it's other people suffering from the same problems, and people completely understand what you're going through when you don't feel like anybody understands.
It's just not a replacement for professional help.
Right, exactly.
Awesomeness. I think that's pretty cool, that there's places like that out there, because I think, you see it everywhere under every little niche, there's some little web location that kind of addresses it, and it always it's bothersome when you find something that isn't addressed somewhere on the internet,
Yeah.
Right.
So let's see here now. So people who got any kind of issues that that I think Brigitta's letter kind of put it. I mean, because you're gonna have people saying, "Oh, well, my issues aren't that severe." And I mean, where's the demarcation line? I mean, how often? I mean, we all have bouts where we're going to be depressed and issues once in a while and blah, blah, blah. And I'm guessing, if it's more than once in a while, then you might consider help. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get at. Where do we, if there's some kind of general rule.
Well, any kind of depression, I would definitely suggest talking to your family practitioner, your family doctor. And if you're not sure if it's something that that should be treated, at least bring it up so he's aware of it, so he can keep an eye on it.
Mm-hmm.
Ren might have something else to add to that, but that's kind of what got me going into seeking help at first.
I I didn't. I had been diagnosed with clinical depression, like I had mentioned before, when I was about 13 years old. But for a very long time, I wasn't getting any treatment for even that. I was sort of ignoring it. And about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I just had a breakdown in public and had to get help for that. If you notice any signs at all, even if you think it might be nothing, bring it up to your general practitioner. They can keep an eye on it and maybe prevent something really bad from happening. And that way they can keep tabs on any developing symptoms.
Yeah, that sounds like a
Yeah.
good deal. Because I know we all have, it's hard sometimes, and I'm thinking, you just have to weigh out each individual situation, you know.
Mhm.
I would think if you're having bouts with depression that are, I mean, but are there people that actually like don't ever swing down to depression? They just stay like on the hyper side or manic side, or did
I'm not
everybody
sure.
swing?
I've never met anyone who is mainly just manic. I'm sure it's possible, but I don't really have any experience, so I can't really talk about that necessarily. I only know people who experience both poles.
Mm-hmm, hmm. That's probably yeah,
Right.
which makes sense. That's why they call it bipolar, huh?
Hmm.
Yeah. Now that you put it that way.
There might be a disorder that is just manic, but yeah, I don't think that would be classified as bipolar if they
Uh-huh.
don't hit the depressive poles. Just like someone who only suffers from depression and not the mania would just be someone with clinical depression rather than someone with bipolar.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
And a lot of times, bipolar people get the wrong. Oh my goodness, the word just kind
Wrong
of went away.
diagnosis.
Diagnosis?
Yeah, the wrong prognosis or
Diagnosis,
diagnosis. Thank you.
yeah. Hmm.
Embarrassed. Um, like myself, I got diagnosed with clinical depression at first because I didn't recognize the hypomania or the mania at all when it came in. I just thought my depression was getting better, for a little while. And then I would swing back down, and my doctor actually never asked me if I got hyper, if I got the hypomanic stage, simply because the only thing I ever complained about was the depression. So they started me on antidepressants, and they helped, but they weren't treating the whole problem. So that's definitely another thing to look out for if you're feeling, both. You definitely need to speak to a doctor and tell them that you're feeling both, not just complain when you're feeling depressed.
Exactly. A lot of times the hypomania might not really seem like it's a problem, but it can get dangerous and it can develop into mania rather like full blown hypermania rather than hypomania. So it can
Right.
be dangerous, and it's better to have a accurate diagnosis so that they can treat what you have more effectively. Because if they give you an antidepressant, it instead of like just an antidepressant to treat the depression, it could actually intensify your manic when one is feeling more manic and won't address the mania at all.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
make
It
it
can also
worse.
go the other way and make you more depressed and suicidal.
Exactly.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, it's a shame, it's not something that can just like give you a blood test and then analyze the blood and say, "Oh, well, this is what you need. Boom, you're set." you know?
Yeah. That would be simple. It would be
Yeah.
really simple, but
Yeah, right.
It's a lot
unfortunately
easier.
that's just not the way it is.
Yep.
No, because it's all, yeah, it sounds like it's really, depending on the doctor you go to and everything, and their opinions of their, you know, what you
Right.
tell them. And, goodness gracious, that's, puts a little percentage of,
I
too much higher percentage of error in there, human error thing.
you know,
Yeah.
well, like, I mean, I love my doctor. I have one of the best doctors up here, so I am not knocking my doctor at all. The fault lies completely with me because I wasn't telling him about the hyper stages. I was only telling him about the depression. That's the only thing I was worried about at the time. I didn't recognize
Hmm.
the hyper or the hypo depression or hypomania. I'm sorry. Um, so it definitely wasn't his fault. I want to make sure that no blame gets placed on my doctor in case he's listening. um,
So that's a good deal. I mean, we ought to touch there because I mean, I think that might be part of the issue. If people don't know, I mean, you're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. We're not a doctor. People who haven't been there, it's kind of like when you take your car to the mechanic, and you're at their mercy, and if something goes wrong, it's always, well, you didn't tell me to do that. Well, I'm not a mechanic. How the hell am I supposed to know what to tell you to do? You're supposed to tell me. So
right.
yeah, I mean, it's a catch-22 thing on this. So, what were some of the things that caused you to finally have that realization?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't realize that I was bipolar. I thought that I was clinically depressed because that's, like I said, that's the only thing that concerned me. I wasn't recognizing the hypomania. Um, so once when I was depressed and I had become suicidal, like I mentioned earlier, I went to the hospital and spoke to a psychiatrist, not a family practitioner, and he really kind of dragged it out of me, kicking and screaming that I was manic also, and that's what kind of brought it around. And then once he said, I think you're bipolar, and this is what happens, I was looking at the symptoms, and most of them fit me to a T.
Uh,
Um, so it took somebody else to, like I said, drag it kicking and screaming out of me to actually, point out that yes, this is what's going on.
I see. So it's not necessarily something you might not even recognize.
Hmm.
Definitely, definitely. And like I said, I mean, the majority of people who suffer from bipolar disorder aren't diagnosed with it, and that's a severe problem. It's a very serious problem because they suffer and they don't need to.
Hmm.
You know, it's years upon years of needless suffering. Um, that just simply going to the doctor and talking to a doctor and saying, yes, I have been depressed. And trying to work on the situation and find out exactly what's going on, and just be completely and painfully honest with your doctor. Tell them how you're feeling, and try to get help, because nobody has to go through that alone. Nobody should
Yeah,
ever have to go through that.
I think that's really, really great advice right there because that's the whole thing. Is that if you can't be on it, they're not magicians. They don't have like ESP or whatever. I mean, you got to tell them. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's yeah. If you don't have great communications and you're not open and honest with them, then you're not probably not going to be satisfied with the results, and it boils back to not being open and honest. You can't expect this person to be a mind reader.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because yeah, I would imagine that's because a lot of I think in some way people see these things, and I'm especially like Ren says, if it's an issue with inhibition. Well, if you don't have any inhibition, that could like be some embarrassing things you might not want to talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know.
I'm sure in a lot of cases it's not the depression that gets you. I'm sure it's the lack of inhibitions and the doing things that are dangerous for you
Yeah.
that get you in the end.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, you can get yourself in bad trouble doing if you're in the wrong place, being uninhibited. Boy, that's a huge can of worms there.
Yep, exactly.
You know, on most big major metropolitan areas, you start walking down on those streets with an uninhibited mindset, and yeah, you might never be seen again or something. You know.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow. That's I never thought about it that way because that's a wonderful it's the inhibition thing. Yeah,
Right.
Mm.
that's a much better way of putting it than the websites I saw that kind of you know talked about it in a sexual tone.
Right. Right.
Because it's not just sex. It's
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people who talk about it like that are just adding to the stigma.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's not just a sex thing. I mean, it can increase someone's sex drive, but that's not what it is. What it is yeah, it's lowered inhibitions. It's
Hmm.
the kind of, it's kind of like, have you ever been gambling and you win, and then you have this intense desire to just keep gambling because you're gonna keep winning, of course. It's
Yeah.
that feeling, but
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, you're on a streak. Better keep it going.
exactly that's how it feels. And if unchecked, it can be dangerous. If you're aware of it, you're able to control it a little more. Um, Even if you're not on medication, which is why, at the very least, a diagnosis is helpful.
Hmm. Hmm.
Definitely.
Because when I become aware of myself slipping into mania, I'm able to keep track of it, and I'm able to tell my friends, "Hey, you know, make sure I don't do anything unsafe."
Definitely.
So I would think, of course, I realize, physical activity affects, like heart rate and pulse and stuff like that. I mean, if a person goes into mania and that doesn't those things start increasing as well from that?
It can, yeah. There's a lot more adrenaline, so yeah, that can be affected.
Hmm. Hmm. So that could, yeah, I was just thinking that could be a marker, kind of like.
Yeah.
And you said that you'd have a watch, that a little alarm goes off if your rate goes above something or whatever. You know, because I got those watches. It'll tell you your blood pressure or your heart rate and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. If you're just sitting watching TV or something, and all of a sudden, oh, whoa, hey, no reason
That
for
would be
that.
nice. That would be very beneficial. But
I don't know. I mean, I would think if they get hard cases, they might have them chart something like that to see if there's any correlation and stuff, and if they get have someone who they have a hard time, like pinning down some kind of medical regimen or something for them or whatever. I don't know. That's you always hear the horror stories about some people they can't find nothing that works.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah, well, that's what makes it bad, because there are things like that out there. Everyone thinks in our society, oh, well, they just have a pill for everything. You can just take a pill, don't worry about it. Well,
Yep, not that easy.
yeah, it's not that easy at all, is it?
If it was that easy, my life would be a lot less stressful.
Not like the Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. Yeah, you take the pink pill to go to bed and the red pill to wake up and the white pill at lunch, and you're ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, on that note, I'd like to also mention that there is no miracle pill. I mean, most people, like I said, well, like you mentioned, can't just take a pill and be better. It does stabilize your moods, but you still, at least from what I've been reading, you still do cycle. Maybe not as much, but it's still a constant struggle. To try to stay right in your own head.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it doesn't correct it. It just makes it easier.
Right.
Yeah, maybe like takes the edge off or something.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. Like the new medication that I'm on, I'm just hoping it'll keep me closer to neutral. I'm not going to stay neutral, but I'd like to at least stay closer to neutral than having severe spikes.
Right, have it be manageable.
Exactly.
You know, and that's basically any good psychiatrist will tell you that, or even therapists will tell you that there is no magic pill, that this is something that you're going to have to manage, you know, most times for the rest of your life. You know, and having the coping skills, having, you know, the peer groups that you can rely on and depend on and lean on when you need to, are part of those managing the disorder.
Yeah, I would think even if they got you, you know, okay, we got this and that and that and this is good, you know. Well, maybe 2-3 years down the road or 5 years down the road or whatever, your physiology changes or whatever, and that don't work no more. Here we go again.
Mm.
You know, they're going to have to start figuring out what works for you, you know, I would think as you age or as things change and, you know, maybe even if your diet changes, you know, and you start getting heavy or whatever. I mean, as things change, you know, then, you know, it's ever evolving kind of thing, I would think. Not like they give you medicine. Here you are, and you're set for life. There you are. All you got to do is take those 3 pills
Right.
every day for the rest of
Yeah,
your
you
life.
gotta
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, that don't happen.
I mean, you're constantly seeing therapists and psychiatrists too to help you deal with this, you know, and
Right.
And they would be able to, you know, help you diagnose any issues that you're having with your medication. Again, as long as you're forthcoming with the information, you know, if you're starting to feel
Exactly.
the depths and, you know, the depths and the highs again that you were feeling at one time, you know, then you definitely need to tell them that.
Okay. So yeah. It's an ever evolving kind of thing. It's not like diabetes, you know. Here, you take this much insulin every day, and we'll see you check you once a year. You know, that's you know, or once every 6 months or whatever. This is for the rest of your life. You're going to be going to a therapist or whatever kind of deal, probably, huh?
Yep. At the very least, for the rest of your life, going to see a doctor for medication management.
Uh-huh. Right. Yeah. And they're always going to have questions in case things change or whatever.
Exactly. I mean, it's annoying to have to do it for the rest of your life, but at the same time, it's much better than struggling for the rest of your life, you know, to be suffering that much for the rest of your life. At least now it's annoying, it's an inconvenience, but it's helping. So.
Well, that's what counts. Oh, Janie, I got it totally off the mark here and out of the blue. George, a little while ago, actually mentioned in the chat room that he thinks you must have a lot of patience to surf the internet on your cell phone because he said you gotta have patience. That's so slow.
It definitely does. And it's even more difficult to do when you have nails because those buttons are so freaking small.
Okay, so I got to ask you two now. Let's see where we at here. Oh, we're just a little past the halfway mark. The 1 o'clock was our halfway mark. My time, 1 o'clock, 4 p.m. on the East Coast was our halfway mark. So we still got another 51 minutes left in the show. But I usually take a little break here in the show. Like play a little song, you know, let everybody maybe refill their drinks and maybe take a potty break or whatever, you know. That kind of stuff. So let's take a little break. Let me play a little song here. What do I want to play? I feel like something from Emily today. Emily's up in the New England states too. Her lover, Emily Nyman and Lynn Berry, live up there, and Lynn's a poet. You know, she's actually a published poet, and Emily's a musician. So they, in more than one way, make beautiful music together. They are awesome. I love their stuff. So let's hear one of their songs here. Let me find one real quick while I'm stalling for time. Yeah, here we go. This is one called "Shouting Out a Whisper" by Emily Nyman. You can check her out at emilynymanmusic.com. And you can take a short break here, 3-minute and 43-second song. We'll be back on the other side.
Lessons learned in childhood were simple. Do unto others as you have done to you. Learn to love thy neighbor as thyself. If you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I am shouting, shouting, shouting out a whisper. I've been shouting out a whisper for too long. Watch out when love comes with conditions. Hatred in the name of God is wrong. When I was young, I listened to my mama. I know that all she wanted was the truth. Now I find I quote the Dalai Lama. I wish I could rewind life to my youth. That's why I'm shouting, shouting, shouting out a whisper. I've been shouting out a whisper for too long. Watch out, they hide behind the Bible. Treat you like an angry, tortured dog. That I have left I can't be sure of. But what I long for now is some control. While everyone's attending fancy parties, I'll be home conversing with my soul. I am shouting, shouting, shouting out a whisper. I've been shouting out a whisper for too long. You may decide you want to sue for libel and arrest them for impersonating God. We've been shouting, shouting, shouting out a whisper. We've been shouting out a whisper for too long. Go back and read your catechism. We don't need your permission or your righteous criticism, because we're shouting, shouting, shouting out a whisper. We've been shouting out a whisper for too long, so we sing this song. We're shouting, shouting, shouting out a whisper. Shouting, shouting, shouting out a whisper.
Thank you, Emily and Lynn. Awesome performers. They're great. Okay, Janie and Ren, we're back. Did y'all get all your little stuff done?
Yeah.
Yep.
Me too. Wasn't it you, Janie, last time that said, can you play a little longer song next time?
No, it was perfect. It was perfect.
Okay, I was wondering if I did better this time. I think Janie wanted me to play a 10-minute song, one of those long play disco, 12 inches or whatever.
Remixes. Techno dance remix.
Right?
Had the love calling, and it was fun.
Tom, do you have Dark Side of the Moon?
There you go. Or Inagata Devita is another good one because there's a 17-minute long version of Inagata Devita.
Oh, I think I would be suicidal after hearing that. Oh my goodness, 17 minutes of Inagata Devita.
Terrible.
Yeah.
That should be classified as torture. Oh my goodness. I mean, all I can remember from Inagata Devita, bang bang. That's. I don't know. Is there actually words to that song? I don't know.
Yes, there is actually.
Oh, there are verses and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Jamie's got some different kind of music interest, Ren, so we'll just pretend like, oh, that's so awesome. I love that too, Jamie.
Pick on me again. I listen to everything. What's with you? See what I have to put up with every other week, Ren? It's just not fair.
Seems like fun to me.
We do. We try to have, because that's, you can talk about serious things and still laugh once in a while,
Oh, definitely. That's what makes it fun, though. That's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, without laughter, oh my God, can you imagine a world without laughter?
Be the worst.
Yeah, you'd be Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, touche. You get an applause for that one. Woo! See, you didn't know we had a studio audience, did you, Ren?
Fantastic.
One moment, please. Because I needed a 9-minute song. I got my coffee made, but I didn't have sugar in it. I just realized, yuck!
I hope you didn't take a drink of it.
Well, that's how I knew it didn't have sugar in it and went, yuck!
Oh. You? I have to have creamer in mine, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Like real cream, or do you use milk?
Oh, I use real cream.
Oh, my goodness.
French vanilla. Come on.
I usually stick my coffee with cream, no sugar. I've been trying to cut back on the sugar.
Yeah?
So, as long as it's a well-made cup of coffee, it's pretty good.
Yeah. My problem is I can't make a well-made cup of coffee. I always put too much in it. I wind up having to water it down.
I see. So, but what do you make? Are you making single cups? Or are you making pots? Or how?
A whole pot. I waste a whole pot.
Oh, wow.
I can cook up a storm. I can bake okay. But if you ask me to make coffee, prepare to be poisoned. It's horrible. I cannot make coffee to save my own life.
I don't think my brother, he makes it by the pot too, but he's got one of those old percolators, where you put the coffee in the thing and it percolates and drips. And I went in. I don't drink his coffee no more. Well, I'll ask him now. Is this real deal or is this hobo coffee? Because he'll fill that thing up and then sprinkle a little fresh stuff on it and make a whole nother pot the next day, and then sprinkle a little more. And, yeah, right.
I guess that's one way to save coffee grounds.
Well, I went the other day to the grocery store. What used to cost me $8.99 for the the big bucket whatever thing of coffee is now $12.99. So I don't know. I'm thinking about I might have to give up coffee. It's getting almost as expensive as cigarettes.
Yeah, it's bad. Oh man, cigarettes. Speaking of, I haven't had one all day.
Wow, congratulations.
It's only because I've been too lazy to go outside.
God, I wish I could be lazy.
Right.
Lazy isn't in my vocabulary anymore. I try every once in a while, but it never goes well.
Yeah.
Hard to be lazy when you got 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have to wait about another, 16 years or whatever before you get lazy again.
I know.
That's why Janie wants a partner, so she can split this 50-50 and maybe get lazy back in her life.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean.
It's like, great, I love you, watch the kids.
I gotta run to the store and do something. I'll be back tomorrow.
Ren, aren't you happy you don't live near Janie?
Well, she's only about 10 hours away.
Only 10 hours.
Yeah, I have a friend up in upstate New York, but I guess not nearly as upstate, because he's about 4 hours away from me. In Ithaca?
Yeah. I've been to Ithaca. That's a beautiful, beautiful city.
Oh, it's absolutely. I'm restraining from calling it gorgeous because I realize that it ends up being a really bad pun.
Yes. If you don't know, Ithaca is known for its gorges. Seriously, it's an extremely beautiful city, and there's a college right in the middle of the city.
Isn't there some famous statue there or something?
I think so. I don't know what it's called. Pretty sure I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe some angel with wings or something, or maybe I got that wrong. I don't know. For some reason, when you all said Ithaca, I just vision of this bronze statue, angel with wings kind of thing or something came to my mind. I don't have any idea why. And I could be totally way out in left field, too, so who knows?
I mean, I know there's a lot of art in that city, so could be.
Definitely.
Janie's way up there. I think she's actually Canadian, but she just says she's in upstate New York.
Very close. Oh my goodness. Extremely close. I can like throw a stone and hit Canada.
Yes, she can hear him say "hey" at night if she listens real closely.
Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between them and the coyotes.
See, Sarah Palin ain't got nothing on Janie. She could see Russia, but Janie can hear "hey." I know, but they don't like it when you say things to them. But you probably hear French. Do they have a French version of "a"?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Let's see here.
International words. I think it's the same in no matter what language.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hey.
I like to hear it when they say "a boot."
A boot, yes.
Instead of "about," And then if you call them on it, they'll go, "Oh no, I didn't. No, I said about." And I said, "Oh, okay," but they still say "a boot."
Yep.
I like accents, though. I like people with accents. Accents are cool.
Well, everybody has one. Just some are more subtle than others, or some aren't obvious because you're the owner of said accent.
Exactly. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, you have an accent. Oh no, I don't. You do.
Well, you're both right. You both have an accent.
Right.
It's the one thing that I found annoying though is the stereotypical Jersey accent. I've lived here my whole life, and I've never met someone who talks with a Jersey accent, like New Jersey. I've never met someone who talks like that ever. don't know where that stereotype came from.
Yeah, right. It's because it's really. I know. I mean, I've talked to some people from up in there that have. In fact, Mike is one of the guys. Mike that calls. He's a queer public radio. He actually was on our first roundtable with us, and he's. But I would. It sounds more New Yorkish or Bostonian, kind of combination thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's silly. It's silly, but
Yeah, I spent a
oh
lot of
well,
my.
we're the butt of America's jokes, so.
Yeah, yeah. It's my. I used to go visit in the summer sometimes. Because I was in Texas. I'd go out to California to visit my cousins and stuff, and they'd always giggle and say y'all, hee 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 hee, y'all, hee hee hee, because I all say y'all. So.
I don't think I've ever said use when I wasn't joking. Like
What do they?
use guys. I've never done that.
Yeah, out there, I think that's what they use. The you guys. I don't think they put
Yeah.
you guys, but the you guys.
Yeah, we'll say you guys. We don't say use guys.
Right.
Silly. Silly.
Yeah, George is in the chat room. He's saying no one noticed their own accent, and yeah, he says the Jersey accent is actually a Brooklyn accent, and he's from New Jersey, and the accent that people talk about is from Brooklyn. I'm like, ooh, someone get their feathers ruffled, honey.
There could be a Brooklyn accent. I've met people from Brooklyn who don't talk like that either, though. So I don't know. It just seems like it's probably a Brooklyn accent taken and exaggerated tenfold.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's all because of the Jersey boys. Let's blame them. The Jersey
Drescher,
boys.
hello. I'll find everything to be Fran Drescher's fault.
Oh, it's Fran's fault? Okay.
Yeah.
Could be.
Is she from Jersey?
I think she's from Brooklyn, but
Oh.
she spends a lot of time down in Jersey.
Yep.
I noticed that a lot of that going on there, a lot of people from Jersey always going over there, and people from there always going over to Jersey, and I guess when there's only one bridge between you, huh?
We share. We definitely know how to share. I mean, I'm right in the middle of the state. I'm towards the coast, but like in regards to north and south, I'm smack dab in the center. So I spend a lot of time in Philadelphia, and I spend a lot of time in New York City. So they're both about an hour away. It's not really a far trip.
I remember when I was up in New Jersey in the when was it? I think it was in the late '70s. No, yeah, it might have been early '80s, '70s, somewhere in there. It might have even been mid '80s. But I was up there for a little business-related trip, going to a little class thing, and I heard on the news, on the radio, going from the airport to where I was staying, that there was some state trooper up there that was having a sex change and from male to female, and wanting to keep her job with the state trooper department, afterwards, and they had just approved it that it would be okay, and I was thinking, is that person crazy or what? But first time she calls her officer, in trouble, need assistance, well, they're all going to be 30 miles away. That's crazy.
Oof.
Yeah, because we're talking like 85 at the latest. And I was thinking, wow, way back then, I was thinking, wow, New Jersey must be really, that's what I put in my New Jersey must be really advanced, I don't know. That's strange stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, it's commonplace nowadays, but back then I was like blown away when I heard that. I almost wanted to write down the guy's name and follow up, to see what happened, afterwards.
Yeah.
But I never did.
One fortunate thing is, at least this part of New Jersey is very tolerant. So that's definitely a plus.
And they have what in New Jersey? They have civil unions, right, in New Jersey?
Yep,
Yeah.
civil unions, and and I'm right by I live 20 minutes away from Asbury Park, which has a huge LGBT community, huge.
Oh,
So actually, Pride's coming up in a couple of weeks, and that's exciting.
that is very exciting. I mean, we're all getting ready for that. Pride is like, I mean, I think in California, Georgia, in Long Beach, they're getting ready for it. Here, I think he said next weekend. I think he said. So
Yeah,
lots of
yeah,
places. I mean, Philadelphia, I think, is this weekend. I think.
think so. Yeah, I'm definitely, if nowhere else, I'm definitely going to Asbury Park. I have a friend who lives down the road. I can walk there from her house,
Awesome.
and get to meet a lot of people. It's just generally a very tolerant area, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it imagines, I imagine it's lots of places, I should say, not every place, but lots of places have the more tolerant areas, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's some area that, you know, that isn't,
Yeah,
you know, that you better stay away from too, that's,
but at least, yeah, Jersey is the majority of it is tolerant. It's not a place where I need to be afraid of hiding anything about myself in that regard.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty great. It's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of places. Gotta be,
Mm,
yep. George in the chat room says he has cousins in Asbury Park.
it's a good place. I like it there. It's gorgeous, gorgeous.
It sounds familiar. The name sounds familiar. Isn't there some song about it
Oh,
or
oh,
something?
Bruce Springsteen
Uh huh.
and Asbury Park. Asbury Park is one of the more famous cities in New Jersey.
Uh, okay. I thought that. I said that sounds like. Yeah, I was thinking there was some song related to that thing or something.
There's probably lots and lots and lots of songs about Asbury Park. I mean, I've heard lots, but then again, I've heard a lot because I tend to seek out bands that originated in New Jersey.
Ah.
So, of course, they're going to write about their home state.
Yeah. Yeah. Even Emily Nyman, the one that I just played the song during the break, she's got a song she wrote about Vermont, which is kind of like her home state.
Yep.
So, yeah. I mean, goodness, that's that's pretty awesome. It's nice to hear, from different peoples from different areas and different spaces to hear what their take is on where they're at. I think that's always interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not like heterosexism doesn't exist anymore. It's not that at all, but it's that it's becoming less of a problem, which is good.
I mean, yeah, we already know about Jeannie, so we got to hear about someone that actually lives around other people once in a while. So that's
Yeah.
cows don't count. So Janie's kind of. I joke with Janie about she needs to put some interesting signs on the cows, so that comedy relief.
I haven't gotten around to doing that yet, though. I'm
Yeah,
going to go to an Amish field and paint one of the cows rainbow colors and watch them have a heart attack.
yeah, right. Well, if you ever go cow tipping in heels, I definitely want a video of that.
I don't think you ever have to worry about that. I told you this once before. It's really hard to walk through cow pastures in high heels.
Well, you can wear the low squatty ones, not the stilettos.
Where's the fun in that? They don't make your butt look as good.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's the whole
I hear
purpose of
those
heels.
things.
You know that, right?
Those are bad. Those are bad for your feet. I read an article about women's shoes. Anything above 2 inches is like pushing it, girlfriend. It's really, really bad for you.
Yeah, I hardly ever go above an inch anyway, so.
Moderation, man, moderation.
Yeah, once in a while. Yeah, got yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm 5'10", so if I go anything above an inch, I'm standing out like a sore thumb anyway.
Yeah, see, I'm a Doc Martin kind of person, but once in a while,
Oh, yeah.
even I wear my 3-inch heels.
Well, that's still pretty moderate, you know. Goodness, I mean, those what's the big deal? Like 6-inch stilettos. Those are the ones that you.
Oh gosh.
Uh,
No, the biggest I've ever seen are like 5-inch heels, and those are like fetish heels.
oh, 5-inch.
So
Okay, so I was pushing it with 6, huh?
yeah, three and a half is usually the limit for average high heels, and even that's really tall. But I will wear 3-inch heels. But then again, I'm 5'2", so
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty short.
Janie's got a new dress that she's chomping at the bits to wear out. You know, she hadn't got to wear it yet.
Not yet. I'm waiting.
And you got some shoes to match now, right?
Yes, I do.
Those have heels on them.
Yes.
How high are those heels?
They're like 2 inches. They're nice.
Cool.
Hold on.
See, I moderate in extremes. I only wear high heels moderately, but when I wear high heels, they're at least 3 inches.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think the kids are having more fun than us.
Yeah,
They are. They
I'm
are.
jealous.
I figured I could lock myself in a room, but that doesn't even work.
Oh, goodness gracious. So, let's see here. So I'm sure that Ren, you must have some bars around your neighborhood, huh?
Not really, actually. I think there's only one bar within 10 miles of me, but there's lots of bars in my friends' neighborhoods, and that's what matters.
Cool. Let's see here. What else did I have? Anything else to touch on this topic? No, I think we got through everything that I had anyway. Uh-oh, there goes my dog. That's Chewy.
You know, it's really obnoxious with all this background noise I'm getting from you.
Yeah, between the dogs and the kids, I think we're getting upstaged.
Yeah. I'm surprised my dogs aren't barking. I've got a Chihuahua downstairs, and I'm shocked that we haven't been able to hear him barking when he's been going off. Tiny little thing, but he's got a pair of lungs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, little ankle biters, those chihuahuas.
He's a sweet dog though. He's not the ankle biter sort. He loves everyone.
Oh,
So at least he's friendly, and he's my baby. He's my baby.
that's the way my beagle is. He wants to lick everybody's face.
Exactly.
People don't understand when he barks. I said, he's not barking at you. He's saying, "Come here, I'm here, play with me." The tail's wagging. You know, that's a totally different bark from when the tail's not wagging.
Exactly.
Oh, goodness. Gotta love those dogs. I tell you, I love dogs. They disagree so seldom. You know, I love that.
Yep.
Janie's got a puppy, though. She's a glutton for punishment. 3 kids, and what does she do? Get a
Oh,
puppy.
A yellow lab, to say the least. She's,
Wow.
he's okay. I mean, he's the cutest thing in the world, but oh my lord, he's going to be big.
Yep.
And, yeah, that first year where they chew everything in sight, you know.
Uh-huh. Yep, I went out and bought a organizer for all my shoes. come on, I've got like 15 pairs of shoes. He has his choice of which ones to chew on if I don't get him off the floor.
Yeah. He's like, oh, a buffet.
Mm-hmm. And most of them are just straps. So it's like, you can paw through 3 of those, in 5 minutes.
Well, that's what they make duct tape for, honey. Just, I did one of my shoes that my dog chewed up when he was a puppy. I did that. I put duct tape on it. And my niece was looking at, Tom, you need to get rid of those shoes. Get you some new shoes. That's ridiculous, putting duct tape around your shoes like that.
Well, duct tape really isn't that fashionable.
Yeah,
I hate to say it.
Yeah, but
it's
very
you can get it in
functional.
different colors, but it just doesn't work on heels.
It functions well, though.
Hey, I don't know. I mean, it depends on what kind of circles you hang around in.
Well, I guess that's true. I guess
I
it's
get
true.
away with duct tape on shoes.
It comes in really handy when you're holding the sign on the corner. I'm the one that holds up that, why lie, I need a beer.
Oh, this sounds good too.
I saw a guy with that sign one time, and I gave him $5. They're lucky to get $1 from me usually because I'm poor. But when I saw that, why lie, I need a beer, here's $5, dude, that gave me the biggest chuckle I had all day.
Wow.
And he went and got a beer. Oh, I knew George in the chat room was telling me, George, George is one of these guys that, the day after, the royal wedding, he's calling me up and telling me all about the gowns and the colors and the crowns and everything, and I'm like, no, I haven't seen any of the pictures. No, I really don't care. Oh, he wanted to take away my gay card, so when I made my duct tape comment, he's like, you're awful, Tom, duct tape.
Well, I'll tell you, from what I've seen of the royal wedding, I wouldn't be caught dead in half the hats that they wore. So maybe I'm not a true transsexual.
No,
but
you're just not in the royalty part of it. That's all, honey. You don't have to be.
Well, that one that's on eBay right now, I'm not even sure who wore it. I can't remember. But the one that looks like it's all ribbons and. No, thank you.
Oh, gosh. That was the most horrible hat.
I know. It was like a train wreck on her head.
And it's for auction on eBay?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Was that big, awful pink one?
I still haven't seen any of the pictures. Now I'm really in trouble.
Oh, my God. You won't miss it if you see it. Trust me.
Yeah. It's there.
I know that one that Aretha wore at the inauguration for Obama the first time around. They got a lot of comments. I had a friend of mine I was watching that one live. Yeah, I won't watch it. I won't watch the royal wedding, but I was watching the Obama inauguration. But it was on, I don't know, it was on the internet, and I looked for it. So I guess I just didn't have any drive to do that with the royal wedding thing. You would have had to get up for what, 2 a.m. or whatever over here anyway to see it.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, the Obama inauguration was at least at a pleasant hour.
Yeah, right. An hour when we're normally awake. Yeah.
Nope.
Oh my goodness. George said that hat that you talked about on eBay. He said they're trying to get $3,000 for it.
God. Ugh.
So far, the total bid is.
You have to pay me $3,000 to take it.
He said so far the total bid is $178.
Makes sense.
Wow.
George, how many days has it got left on the? Because that's you really don't know until the last day. The last few minutes, really.
I think people may be too embarrassed to bid on it.
Because they usually, they only let them run, 7 days, 14 days, something like that, I think.
I'm not sure. I haven't done eBay in ages.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Who knows? All the rules could have changed since the last time I did anything over there. But, George will tell us. He probably got it on his screen right there and looking at it, going, ooh, can I go 179? Poor George.
You pick on other people besides me.
Yeah, I'm an equal opportunity picker. You're safe, Ren. You're too new. I can't pick on you yet.
I'll get there.
Yeah, right.
Don't worry. He gets as good as he gives, too. Trust me.
Yeah, I do. I can attest to that. George said it just went up yesterday, the bid thing for the hat thing or whatever thing. So, whatever. We'll see if he tells us anymore. If I keep giving George a hard time, he's going to call in, and then the rest of us are doomed. But we got about 13 minutes left in the show, so it's kind of like wrap-up time. Any last words? Ren, I'm going to let you go first. Any last words?
On the bipolar topic, just basically if you think you show any symptoms, if you have any problems, even if it's not just bipolar, any mental health issues that might make your life more difficult, see someone about it. Even if it's nothing, it could be something, and it's better to check it out and get help than going without. And social stigma is becoming less and less. It's less of a big deal. It's more important that you take care of yourself than to appease any silly societal rules.
Yeah, that's well said, because that's not just regarding bipolar, that's regarding everything. Just be honest with yourself and be yourself,
Exactly.
Dump all the baggage, you don't need to live your life for somebody else, live your life for yourself first. You got to love yourself first. That's what that part of that means, That's, if you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. Yep, that's very important words. And Janie?
I agree with her 100%. Actually, if you think that you may be afflicted with something such as depression or bipolar disorder, definitely, don't be too proud to go out and seek help for it. You can only better your life, and that's what we all really want, is our life to be better. And something like that can also be self-feeding. Depression doesn't make you happy; it makes you more depressed. So you keep track of yourself and take care of yourself.
Yes. Yep, that's so important, because negativity, that's what it creates, more negativity, So if you're positive, then you're going to create positiveness. There is such a thing. There's actually a book out there, I don't remember the name of it, Taught Positiveness or something like that, or learned positiveness or something like that. And where basically it's a lot of your life and what happens in it has to do with your mindset.
Right.
Oh, we got a last-minute call here from Rob and Cisco. One moment. Rob and Cisco from the streets of New York. We got Rob and Cisco calling in. Goodness, we only got 10 minutes left in the show, Cisco and Rob. What's going on over there?
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey, good. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah.
Hello.
And we also have a friend named Ren on. Janie brought a friend named Ren. Ren, Cisco, and Rob.
Hey, Ren.
Hello.
Hi, Ren.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. Definitely. Yeah, we're just getting home, actually, from a little interview that we had with Tree Sequoia.
How'd that go?
Yeah. And I just wanted to double check and see how the show's going, and you know, yeah, just call in and say hello.
Awesomeness. All right, and y'all gonna be doing your AIDS walk in the rain tomorrow? It looks like, from what Janie tells us.
We're calling for thunderstorms. Yesterday it said sunshine. The other day it said rain. So I guess we'll be taking our umbrellas with us.
Oh no.
Definitely. Oh,
We'll be taking our rubbers with us.
Oh my.
We're definitely looking forward to walking tomorrow. It's a great cause, and
Yeah, we have a friend that's coming up from Philadelphia,
New Jersey,
South Jersey, and we have a friend Bosco from Orlando, which is moving. Well, he's moving up here. He's just waiting for his stuff to come up, and he's also walking with us. And Chris Riley, and a few other people actually. So we'll have a nice little intimate group, and
we'll be walking with everybody else and just having a good day.
George in the chat room says hello to Robin Cisco as well.
Hey George.
Yeah. So I told everybody earlier in the show that y'all were probably talking with Tree right at this very moment when we were here. You know that y'all were going to go talk with Tree today, and we're like, awesome. We're all excited about the special series that you're going to be doing with us this coming Pride month of June.
Yeah.
I'm surprised your friend from Philadelphia is coming, because I thought Philadelphia was having Pride this weekend.
Well, I'm not sure. He actually lives in Jersey. It is this weekend.
It is this weekend, yeah.
But he lives in South Jersey, so he said he was coming up. So definitely ready to have him on our team.
Yeah. You're right. Philadelphia's having the 26th year.
Yeah, Ren's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
In Central Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Over by Six Flags.
Oh, by Jackson.
Yeah, in Jackson, actually. That is where I am right now.
Oh, cool. Jackson.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boring.
So, guys, well, you got stuff going on today over there?
There's Urban Bear Weekend this weekend that's going on in the city. So there's lots of bears, hairy men, and admirers running around the city. So we're probably going to take a little part of that, see what we can do with that tonight, and be home kind of early so we can get a little bit of rest before the walk in the morning.
And the AIDS walk thing, that's what people donate, X amount per mile. Is that how it works? And y'all, however miles you walk?
Or it could just be a general donation of whatever they can afford, because it all goes to a good cause. We started 59th Street and 5th Avenue down by the plaza, and we walk up through Central Park up to about 108th or 110th. I think it's 110th Cathedral Parkway. And then we walk over to Riverside Drive, down Riverside Drive, and then back over into the park at the end.
Can someone still donate to that?
Yes, they can.
Then where would they go to donate to your participation in this event?
You would just join on. You would register. You have to register, and then you would just join. Donate under the Back in the Gays team.
What's the website?
Oh, AIDS Walk. Actually,
right here.
AIDS Walk.
Actually, let me just double check it. I'm sorry.
No problem. It's. I'm just thinking if they, you might get some last minute, people that might want to come in there and help.
Literally just walked in and decided to call you because you were so excited with Tree.
That's pretty awesome. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put anyone on the spot. Pretend I never asked. Then we were saying about Tree.
AIDSwalk.net/New York. That's the site. AIDSwalk.net/New York.
Okay.
And you can register there and donate to Back in the Gays team, and we'll see you tomorrow. Rain or shine.
Come on, look for the guys from Back in the Gays, and all walk together.
Oh, sponsor a walker. Okay, I see it now. They would click on sponsor a walker, and then y'all will be listed in there or something.
Yeah, and they're back in the gaze.
Ah, cool. Back in the gaze. Okay, remember that, folks. AIDSwalk.net/New York, and then sponsor a walker, and then you'll somewhere in there have an option to select back in the gaze.
Yes, and see you tomorrow, rain or shine.
Yeah, I'll do my best to see if I can get myself up into the city for that.
That would be great.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, it starts at 8:30 and it's till 4. But a lot of the times it actually ends earlier than that. It's all it's all at your own pace, very relaxed walk, and it's for a great cause. I mean, we're going to take lots and lots of pictures, and we'll be posting it on our page, and we'll definitely send you copies of the walk too, Tom. So you
Cool.
can post it on Pure Public Radio, yeah. Just like we have some pictures of Tree also to share with you, so we'll send you that also.
A
So you,
couple pictures of the Stonewall Bar, the interior.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, so you can post it on Queer Public.
Very cool.
So it was a really good interview, and we're looking forward to putting it together for the month of June for
And sharing it with Queer Public, with your readers and your listeners, and
bloggers, and
yeah.
pod listeners.
So y'all you gonna be doing next week too with him?
No, he's actually not. He's actually going to be out of town next week,
Ah.
in the next couple weeks. But we are going to try and see him again during the month of June.
June 1st is actually the Imperial. What is it?
The Imperial Court Society. They have places. I think they even have one in Seattle, Tom.
They do.
It's the Royal Court. It's sort of like a drag ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit. It's like if you wanted to live in royalty, you can. They raise a lot of money for the LGBT community.
Right.
They raised over $1 million for AIDS.
God's Love We Deliver, and
Yeah,
other
you name
charities.
it.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of support behind them. And Tree is one of the associates of the Imperial Court.
Ah,
So,
cool. Yeah,
So you're
we used to be home bar. I think that's a big outfit. I think they've been around a long time because we used to be the home bar in the bar I worked at in San Antonio, Texas. Used to be the home bar for the Imperial Court, blah blah blah, and they would have an awards ceremony thing at least. At least that would happen once a year. But they, like you said, they would usually have some kind of benefit show as well throughout the year for different causes. But yeah, when they got their awards, that they'd all get a title, the grand dame of whatever, this and that,
That's basically what it is. Big coordination each.
Yeah, right. Every year, I guess they had elections, and everyone would be voted into certain titles of position or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's how it goes. And Tree's part of it. He actually introduced Joyce Randolph into the Imperial Court also. So
Oh,
Joyce
wow.
Randolph played Trixie in The Honeymooners and is still going. They hang
Wow.
out together a lot here in the city.
And who was Trixie? That was the husband? I mean, the wife?
That was the wife of Ed Norton.
Oh, okay. The other wife.
Yeah.
Well, that's about it, guys. We already had our little. Everyone said their last words or anything. So, I mean, if you got any parting words, we're gonna wrap it up and close the doors.
No, we actually look forward to listening to the podcast.
Yeah, we look forward to that, and we looking forward to June and Pride Month, our Pride Month special, Back in the Gaze and Queer Public Radio together. Definitely.
Yeah, just right around the corner, huh?
Yeah. Which we have a few lined up, which is excellent. People are definitely being
Very responsive.
yeah, and looking to share their experiences, their history, and just their experiences being LGBT and growing, up LGBT. So it'll be a great thing to share.
Yes, yeah, it will. All right, guys. Well, thanks for getting in. We're sure glad you made it in time to put in a little bit for us. That was awesomeness. Oh, there's
Chewy approved.
Chewy approved, big time approved. And continues to approve. All right, Chewy, that's enough now. Who do you think you are, Harvey Milk? Janie, thanks for being here.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Ren, thanks for taking time out and being here as well.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it was awesome. It really was awesome. Got to say adieu to everybody. Our time is up today. Don't forget we have 3 live shows every week. Each one of our live shows is 2 hours in length. We have a show in this time slot every Saturday, which is 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific Time. Sunday evenings we have a show, which is 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And every Wednesday we have the Hump Day Coffee Show, which comes on at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. All the best to you and yours. Don't forget that we are all one human family tree. Please try to love your brothers and sisters.
I love you, and you, and you. Oh, and you too. And don't forget him. I love her, and him, and her, and him, and him, and her. I love you all.
Adios. Have a nice trip. Bon voyage. Farewell to thee.
That's all, folks.
We'll leave the light on for you.